The unexamined life is not worth living. He who is not a good servant will not be a good master. The only real valuable thing is intuition. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. Man is condemned to be free. One cannot step twice into the same river. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. The unexamined life is not worth living. There is no good or evil. Only thinking makes it so. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. To be is to be perceived. The only true wisdom is in knowing you know nothing. Happiness is not an ideal of reason, but of imagination. I can control my passions and emotions if I can understand their nature. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. In everything, there's a share of everything. The only thing we have to fear is fear itself. The unexamined life is not worth living. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. The only true wisdom in knowing you know nothing. I think, therefore I am. Man is the measure of all things. The greatest happiness you can have is knowing that you do not necessarily require happiness. Whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. Life must be understood backward, but it must be lived forward. The only thing I know is that I know nothing. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. The only way to do great work is to love what you do. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. The harder you work for something, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. Dream big and dare to fail. Success is not the key to happiness. Happiness is the key to success. The only limit to our realization of tomorrow will be our doubts of today. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. Wisdom begins in wonder. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. There is no wealth but life. The only real valuable thing is intuition. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. There is no good or evil. Only thinking makes it so. The only real valuable thing is intuition. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. The only thing necessary for the triumph of evil is for good men to do nothing. To be yourself in a world that is constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. The only real prison is fear, and the only real freedom is freedom from fear. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Success is walking from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm. In the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. One of the greatest diseases is to be nobody to anybody. Do what you can with what you have, where you are. With self-discipline, almost anything is possible. Our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Real knowledge is to know the extent of one's ignorance. It does not matter how slowly you go as long as you do not stop. Ignorance is the night of the mind, but a night without moon and star. The superior man is modest in his speech, but exceeds in his actions. When we see men of a contrary character, we should turn inwards and examine ourselves. Our lives are what our thoughts make it. It is not the failure of others to appreciate your abilities that should trouble you, but rather your failure to appreciate theirs. Far better it is to dare mighty things than to rank with those timid spirits who neither enjoy much nor suffer much, because they live in the gray twilight that knows neither victory nor defeat. To see what is right and not do it is the want of courage or of principle. It is hard to fail, but it is worse never to have tried to succeed. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. The best prize that life has to offer is the chance to work hard at work worth doing. The only man who never makes a mistake is the man who never does anything. Speak softly and carry a stick. You will go far. Character, in the long run, is the decisive factor in the life of an individual and of nations alike. The most important single ingredient in the formula of success is knowing how to get along with people. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step. When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you. Respond intelligently, even to unintelligent treatment. All warfare is based on deception. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Opportunities multiply as they are seized. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. The greatest victory is that which requires no battle. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. In war, the way is to avoid what is strong and to strike at what is weak. The wise man does not lay up his own treasures. The more he gives to others, the more he has for his own. He who knows when he can fight and when he cannot will be victorious. There is no instance of a nation benefiting from prolonged warfare. The nature of man is evil. His goodness is only acquired training. When one has the heart of a gentleman, it's easy to be unwavering, but hard to move. When one does not have the heart of a gentleman, it's easy to be moved, but hard to be unwavering. The superior man is distressed by the limitations of his ability. He is not distressed by the fact that men do not recognize the ability that he has. The wise find pleasure in water. The virtuous find pleasure in hills. The wise are active. The virtuous are tranquil. The wise are joyful. The virtuous are long-lived. He who exerts his mind to the utmost knows his nature. Knowing his nature, he knows heaven. The gentleman has breadth of mind and is not a pedant. The small man is pedantic and not broad-minded. He who learns but does not think is lost. He who thinks but does not learn is in great danger. The way to wealth depends on two words: industry and frugality. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. A person's acts are only right when he himself knows that they are right. He who acts rightly for the sake of the name of right is not acting rightly. The nature of man may be likened to the willow tree, whereas righteousness may be likened to wooden tablets. He who knows others is wise. He who knows himself is enlightened. Silence is a source of great strength. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. The highest virtue is to act without a sense of self. To attain knowledge, add things every day. To attain wisdom, remove things every day. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more. See you in the next video.